Now we need to actually create some routes and hook them up and see if they work. So let's head over to our um, server. Let's do this in server. So in server, we'll just add this after our API. You can do it before your API. It actually doesn't matter because they don't collide. You know what that means when I say they don't collide? As in they don't have the same URL, so it's not like one's going to run instead of the other one. They're never going to interact with each other, so it's totally fine. So I'm going to make one for slash, what did I call it here? Oh yeah, user. So app.post. So if you make a post request to user, so I'm creating a new user, I'm going to put create new user like that. And if you do an app.post to slash sign in, I'm going to sign in like that. And you can see now this is cool because this whole router over here has this protect middleware that prevents you from accessing it without a JSON Web Token, but it doesn't apply to these two things. It only applies to this stack, this sub router, because that would suck to, oh, you can't sign in until you already signed in, or, oh, sorry, you can't make a new account because you're not signed in. Like that wouldn't make any sense at all. Because if we put protect down here, that's what would happen. It'd be like, oh no, sorry, 401, you didn't send us a JSON Web Token. He's like, I never even signed up before. How would I have a JSON Web Token? Right? That's literally what would happen. So let's see if we did this right or broke something. Stop my server, start my server. Didn't break on boot up, that's always a good sign. Then I'm going to go into Thunder Client. I'm going to make a post request to user. I'm going to give it a name, a username. I'll call the username Scott, and password is admin. No one's going to guess that one. And I'm going to make sure, let me get rid of this auth stuff in here that I was playing around with earlier. I got some test stuff in there. Okay. I think we're good here. So you just want to make sure if you're using Thunder Client that you click on body, you click on JSON, and then you add your JSON. So we know we need a username because our request is looking for rec.body.username, rec.body.password. So I added a username and a password because that's what our API is asking for, because that's the code that we wrote in our API. We're assuming you're passing us a username and a password on the body. Okay, I'm going to meet that assumption and I'm going to try to send this and see what breaks. Okay, oh, it didn't break, it worked, cool. So we got back a token, and this is what a JSON Web Token looks like. That's a token. It's just weird string. This worked. We signed in. Another way to verify this, I'm going to show you something really cool. If you open up a new terminal tab and you type out npx Prisma Studio and hit enter, and it's going to open up this app. This app is a visual way for you to explore your database. So you can see here's all the models that I have, and user has one in there. Look at that. So if I go click on it, I can see that I have one user in here, and look, it's me, it's Scott, and there's my hash password, and I have no products, and I was created at this time. There's my ID. So this worked. I was able to sign in or sign up. Now let's check that this JSON Web Token can get past the protect middleware on the API routes. Let's give it a try. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this JSON Web Token like so, just a part in the string. It's multi-line. I'm going to make another request to API product, which, by the way, if I try to make this request now, it's going to break, right? Not valid token, because I didn't send a JSON Web Token. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on auth, and we have a bearer token here. I'm just going to type in that. I'm just going to drop in my JSON Web Token. I think Thunder Client by default, if you click on bearer, automatically puts the word bearer in front of it, so you don't have to. But if you click on like headers yourself and add it, you would probably have to add the word bearer. But by default, I think it does this already. So now I'm going to try to make this request with a JSON Web Token, and if we did it right, it should allow me to get something back. So let's see. And it does. I get a 200. Message success, right? And just to show you, if I just get rid of this K, it's not a valid token. It's going to break. If I add the K back, oh wait, was that uppercase? I don't remember. It works. There it goes. Okay, so pretty secure API at this point. Okay, let's just check one more thing. Let's make sure we can sign in. Okay, so I signed up with these credentials. I'm just going to copy them, and then I'm going to make a new request to HTTP localhost 3001/sign in. Click on body, make sure JSON is selected, paste in those same credentials I signed up with, and I'm gonna send the request, and I get 404 because I think I misspelled something on the server side. I'm pretty sure I did. Let's just check that out. Sign in. Oh wait, I had it get, didn't I? Yeah, I believe I had it a GET request. Yeah, it's a GET request. So I need to change that to a post. So now let's try to post that, and voila, we get a JSON Web Token. So sign in works, sign up works, everything's good. And just to test one more thing, usernames must be unique. So I should not be able to sign up with the same username. So I'm going to say post to user, and I'm going to try to sign up with the same thing. I should get an error here. So let's see. And I do. We're not handling errors on the server, so it just died. But that's what I expected to happen. If I go look at this, it'll probably say something like, yeah, here we go. Invalid Prisma user create invocation. It's basically saying, where's the exact one? It's basically, yeah, unique constraint failed on the field's username, AKA someone already has that username. So sorry. All right, this is why we have to catch our errors. My whole server just died because someone typed in someone's username. Like that would suck. So we want to make sure we handle those errors, and we'll do that next time. Any questions on this? Yes.
How would you handle authenticating different tiers of users?
Authenticating different tiers of users. It's a good question. So I guess it depends on what that would look like. And you can get really sophisticated with that. I think one, you would have to create a system that knew what data was on what tier. Like I'm guessing you don't want people accessing certain things based off what certain tiers they have. So then the data needs to know what tiers it's available to. So you'd have to figure that out. Maybe you can store that in a database, like, oh, if someone wants this is tier 3 or whatever. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, it's just a filter on a query, right? Like you would just make sure you would put their tier and their JSON Web Token along with their email or their username or their ID. And then when you query the database, you just make sure you got that tier filter on there. Like I'm looking for this information that is tier 1. Well, if that information isn't tier 1, it's not going to return anything because in the database it's tier 3. So that's one way. You can also do a little more manual per query, and just do your if checks there. Query the database as normal, and then before you send it back, you can well, now let me check the tiers. And we have this configuration object over here that tells me that these tiers only have access to this, so I can just delete these properties before I send them back. But that's wasteful because you already created the database for it. So I mean, there's an unlimited amount of ways to do that. It's not as complicated as it sounds, though. How's everybody feel about authentication, routes, middleware, methods, headers, request, response? We covered a lot. How's everyone feeling about that right now? I want to know what was your expectation of learning Node and API versus reality.
I'll say I'm glad that dipping into TypeScript because it always seems like the scary thing out there, and it really doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. It's TypeScript is optional types. It's always optional types, right? Like you don't have to use the types. I encourage you to use them, but like progressively. Start as you build out more stuff, add a type here or there, right? Just try to figure it out. Eventually you'll just be like a TypeScript god, like one day. Especially if you use Angular, you have no choice. But yeah, it's not hard. It just takes time.
And it seems like the IDEs are getting good at just like knowing what type you're going for anyway.
Yeah, the IDEs are super smart. They just know everything. I mean, yeah, VS Code is just on another level. Good for them. But yeah, I mean, they're owned by the same company now, right? TypeScript was created in Microsoft, and VS Code was created in Microsoft. So yeah, they just get it now.